on mute. Either way you want to do it. But before we get started, I thought it would be great to pull a card. So, or at least a couple. I had some in mind. So this is from Moonology. This is a new deck I just got, Moonology. I'm very much into the moon. And I love this because I talked about this earlier, if you can read it. And it talks about attuned to the moon, manifest miracles. And I thought it would be really great just to kind of pull an energy just for today of what we're talking about. I think for many of us, it's just great to center in. I always put my feet on the ground and just really think about my feet, really grounding, so much so that I can feel the earth underneath where I'm sitting, even if it's a few stories down. And I always like to feel vines like coming up my legs, like really rooting me in Mother Nature. And as I'm doing that, I can feel them coming up my legs, over my knees, into my thighs, up my torso. And I really feel like the earth has got me, like Mother Nature has got me. And I love feeling that. And as I'm doing that, a lot of times, like I can feel almost like so grounded, so into, oops, there it is, into the earth. So what we have here, and it's kind of fun, it's called Go Wild with the lion. I'm going to just put that here for a little bit. And I love that because for many of us, like I think for many of us, this is going to be a breakout year because things that have been on our heart and our mind for a long time are probably going to come forward for us in some way. And I love that because I think many of us have been sitting on things for a long time. Like, is this the time? Do I really know what I'm doing? So it says a new day is drawing. You're moving from dark times to light, and you are well on your way to your desired outcome. Be proud of who you are. Your self-confidence has got you this far, so keep on believing in yourself. Sometimes we have to fake it until we make it, and that's okay. You're on the right track, and the future is bright. Whatever challenges you're facing, consider to take more creative approach. So I'll even take a picture of to post this up there. And it says your manifestation affirmation is, I am magnificent, love me. I am magnificent, love me. I love this. So I think this is really in line with what we're going to talk about because vision boards a lot of times have to do with goal setting and what are you going to accomplish. But as I was thinking about this today, I was very much thinking about, I don't want to think about goals. I don't want to think about them. I want to think about the energy I want to step into. And for me, that I think will get us a lot farther than being set to say, I'm absolutely going to accomplish this. I need to get this milestone done. This is what matters to me. I think for many of us today, what we do is really about the energy we want to attract. And it's funny because I was doing a session yesterday with one of my mentors, Soul Shine Astrology, and she was talking about really just not getting so caught up on every single outcome, but making sure you're aligning to the right energy. So I love the card Go Wild because it really hopefully encourages you to like think far and wide about what inspires you, even if it seems completely crazy. Even if it thinks you're like, how could that ever be? How can I ever do that? And now I have to pull a card from one of my favorites, Rebecca Campbell. So Rebecca Campbell, Work Your Light, is one of my favorites. Not only am I in her membership group, but I got to spend a couple of days with her at Omega a few years ago. And it was kind of one of those things. Her book ended up in my Audibles. I'm not even sure how that happened. And then I ended up going to see her. And I feel like she is all about Mother Nature and roses and aligning to the seasons in your life, which I love. Because in the way the earth is structured now, much of it is sort of managed by the masculine energy, and in which it really makes us feel like we always have to be in spring and summer, producing, delivering. And what Rebecca Campbell talks about is that there's 4 seasons, right? You have your spring season when you're creating something. Oh, wow. You're creating something. You have your summer where it's launching, your fall where you're benefiting from it, and then your winter when you're resting. Very similar to seeds. And that many of us, can be in different seasons at different times, and honoring that season is so important because you can't always be in spring and summer. Sometimes you have to be in winter. and giving yourself that time to really, nestle down and really give yourself the nurturing you need is super important. And so the card that fell out with this one, let me see if you can see it. Can you see it? The Sisterhood of the Rose. The Sisterhood of the Rose. Beyond devotion, priestess, and mystic teacher. So that is so pretty. So I wouldn't be surprised if that aligns to many of you and you are just sort of stepping into that right now. So let me read that to you. I love these cards because it seems like these cards always come true, and I'll pull one at the end too. I think the biggest challenge with some of these cards is finding the card. So let's see, the Sisterhood of the Rose. Number 80. Okay. The Sisterhood of the Rose is a lineage of priestesses and mystics who devote their lives to serving humanity and seeding light consciousness all over the earth. A cross-section of ancient lineage, it is the path of devotion and beauty. Walking this path means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. The rose symbolizes the heart and the sacred geometry of all of life. You are being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. You are being called to spend more time in nature, as all of the ancient secrets live there. Mother Earth is constantly whispering, spending time admiring her creations, and you will be rewarded with insights and grace. You are being called to take a little more time to both notice the beauty that exists all around you and contribute to the beauty of the world in your own way too. This could be through your own creations or in the little things like how you dress to pick flowers at your home. Every time you devote your time to creating beauty, you harmonize the planet a little more and shift the vibration, and it can be felt. The working your light activation is surround yourself with beauty and create beauty wherever you go. I'm just going to show you that card again. Isn't that so pretty?
Yeah.
So I hope for many of you right now, you're just kind of thinking about what is beautiful to you, what do you yearn? And I think it's a good way to start. So last year I did a vision board. And it's funny because right in the middle, I'm going to share it with you. Right in the middle, I put this group and this gathering. And at the time, I didn't really think I was going to put this community together. But this was my vision board last year at this time.
Beautiful. Wow.
And I found all of these just on Google, and I just used PowerPoint and just saved it as a JPEG. But it's funny because right in the middle, I didn't really know that I was going to create this community, but I had already started retreats of bringing women together. And I didn't realize even right underneath it, it says unleash your creative power. And it's really about bringing a way for women to come together to experience and see things in new ways. Because I found in so many ways it was so hard to talk about this or find my community or even just share some of the beautiful things that happen to us in so many different ways. And to know that even 12 months later to create this community and have all of you on this call, it is definitely a pinch me moment. So thank you for joining today. I think there are millions of us out there, millions and millions of women that haven't tapped into their talents or showcased their knowing. And I think for many of us, it's just about feeling safe and knowing we're not alone and knowing that there's no right path. We can just do whatever makes sense to us whenever it is called to us. And I think just being aware that all of us are on this journey, not together, but in parallel, but all of our energy comes from the same space. And for me, that just makes me feel excited and optimistic of what is possible, because we are here for a reason. And there's so many women that can really alter the frequency and energy of everything that's happening around us. And a lot of us are waiting on the sidelines, waiting to step in, waiting to be sure it's okay. And so for all of us today that are on here, I just want to say thank you. And whatever this means to you and however this is resonating is exactly what is supposed to be happening right now. So with that, I just want to guide you kind of through how I did this, because I'm going to be creating one with you too. And you can do this with us. You can do this another time, but I'm just going to give you some guidance of how I created this. And it was incredibly simple. So, and there's no wrong answer. No wrong answer. So before I do, I just want to kind of pause and see if anyone has any thoughts or questions, or if you're like, JJ, I'm tapping out. This is not what I expected. That's fine too. And if you want me to pull a card for you at some point during this, please let me know. I would be happy to pull one for you.
I just wanted to say how grateful I am that you started this group, because I moved here to Arizona thinking that, you know, you always hear about the vortexes in Arizona and all the cool, connected, you know, energy pet people. And I haven't, because of the pandemic, I've been stuck in my house and I haven't really met any of those people. And I've felt really disconnected for like 2 years. And so this, looking at your vision board is just like, wow, it makes my heart feel good. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sherry. I'm glad. And you know, it's amazing what you can do from your house. I feel like I would have never said that even 2 years ago. I would have never done that even 2 years ago. And your card I pulled for you is open
To discover.
To discover. Yeah. Opening to discover. For me, that kind of feels like, for you, it's like the way you think it's going to happen is not the way it's going to happen. You know, like it's going to happen for you in a totally different way. And just being taking care of yourself, seeing yourself as a complete package, body not separate from soul, centering in the sense of self, comfortable in your body, your authenticity, and physical health. Extreme self-care is calling when you receive this card. Answer truthfully. Are you taking care of yourself? Your first choice may be to care for others before meeting your own needs. Check in with yourself and understand if you need self-care.
That's a good card. Thank you.
Another message that this card holds is how you live authentically. Can you be at ease with yourself, you doing you, and pride and self-worth? Remember, you are a soul that manifests through a body, a spiritual being having a human experience. And that means you are here on a purpose, even if there are days when you wonder about that. Sherry, that's your card. So I just love it. Any other thoughts before we move on? All right. So what I do is I just open a PowerPoint. If some of you have Apple, you can open another app, but I just go on the internet. And one of the things that I've done before is I have just kind of looked for words that really mean something to me. And right now I'm sort of in the water and light field. I feel like I just can't get enough water. And every time I'm around water, it really brings light to me. And so I'm just going to share with you what I'm doing. So when I just put water and light in, just like what's happening, there's all these beautiful photos that come forward. I even love this one, right? Like the triumph of it. There's just so many. And so I just sort of put in whatever I'm thinking about, and I just pick a couple photos on and just pop those right into PowerPoint. And I just start moving them around, you know, as I add, I even love this, even as I add, you know, other photos. And so what I would encourage you to do is just really be thinking about what is calling you. What is calling you? What do you feel good around? What makes you feel good? Even if it's stuff you haven't been able to do for 2 years or longer at this point, maybe because of different reasons, but like, what is it for you that really lights you up? And you can just about put anything you want in Google. And then I just go over to the image tab and I just figure out like, what photos do I want to mix and match in? And for me, sometimes I just put 3 or 4 waters and then I remove other ones out. And so as you're thinking and envisioning about 2020, that's funny, +2, 2022, think about what inspires you. You know, I also very much love like women drumming, and I did not put it on like, this is may not be, I was thinking as this does this, but I would put women in ancient drumming. That's a really important thing to me. So I even think like, what can I put in here that would bring up the right things for what I'm looking for? And I think for any of you there now, many of you, you know, many vision boards I've done in the past have been very focused on, I want to get to this level, or I want this to happen for my family, or I want to buy a new house, or I want to get my bank account to a certain thing. But I really encourage you to think about what inspires you, what inspires you, and what excites you, because that's really going to be for you. Even if you can't physically be in that space where it's happening, might be able to find YouTube activities or visuals that can remind you of the sensation you feel when you're doing that. And so even chanting and drumming is really a powerful thing for me. And so just thinking about how that makes me feel. So I'm just going to give you like a few minutes to just think about some words that you can write down on a piece of paper, or things you can search for in Google for a second as you're thinking about this. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And I'm going to open a PowerPoint myself. And I'm just going to start to put in a couple pictures that I think really help me feel whole and make me feel inspired. And I'm just going to give you a few minutes to do the same. It's either open a Word document, a PowerPoint, because you can save them as JPEGs to keep them as your backdrop. But I think just opening and just seeing, I'm going to find a few pictures online and just kind of pull some stuff together. And it took me a little bit of time too. So you might not get it all tonight, but the idea is to find some pictures that make you flutter in your chest a little bit around your soul. Like, what is it going to be for you? Give you a few minutes.
I found the coolest image. I want to write, I have a couple of ideas for books, more than a couple, but I found the coolest image of this book, and it's open like this and all the white light is floating up in the air. It's so cool.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully, I don't know if you can share in a few minutes on your computer, but on your PC or your telephone, but we can try.
My iPad and I can't, I don't know how it would. Yeah, no. Maybe what I can do is put it together and then I can send it after the talk.
JJ, I don't think we can, I don't really know that much about it, but I don't think any of us can share it on the screen if you are sharing, can we? Don't you have?
Yeah, you can share. Let me just change it over here, multiple participants. Okay, so you should be able to share, no problem.
Well, I'm not doing one until later either. Sorry.
That's fine. Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon. Did you say something else? I don't think I caught it.
No, I just wasn't sure if we could share on here if you were sharing, but I realized you're not sharing anything anymore. We're all just staring at each other.
Yeah. I was just searching. I just put the music on. I was just searching, but I can even do it on live. I can even search live. So I was just doing a little bit of searching on YouTube myself, not YouTube. I was listening to YouTube, but I was searching a little bit on like even this I love, right? So I just go here. Oops. Yeah, I was just searching a little bit on Google for things that I liked. So I put chanting and drumming, and then I just like put them around. So it's a little different than what I'm used to. I've gone to so many vision parties where it's so focused on goals, so focused on what are you going to do. And I think just finding things that make us happy and things that we strive for is so important. Because as we know, we have no control of what's going to happen, and we could be locked down for like the next 60 days, hopefully not, but who knows? Are they locking down, Wendy? I just pulled a card for you. Are they locking down for you too?
You know, not really. I mean, I'm just praying schools stay open. We're like, our county's like 80% vaccination rate. So it's not too bad here yet. So I'm just praying that we can weather through it and stay open, mostly so the kids can stay in school. So not too bad, but it's been pretty conservative here from the beginning.
That's good. She's in Oregon. I pulled this for you as I was talking to you, and your card, it's a fox, first of all, which I love foxes. I see a couple once in a while. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yours is, this isn't going to be surprising to you, I don't think. Ears wide open. So it says the world is constantly speaking to us and offering clues about what is really going on beneath the surface of things. We all have the capacity to hear beyond the noise that reaches our ears. The challenge is when we feel misunderstood or unheard, when we feel insignificant. It's easy to over-explain ourselves in an attempt to get acknowledgement. Now is the time to let go of all of that. Offer your attention as the great gift it is. It's time to stop multitasking, checking your phone, or thinking what you're going to say next, and do all the other things that keep you from connecting fully. Wherever we are in a state of chaos and distraction, paying attention to only some of what is being said, we lose the ability to pick up on everything, including that which is not being said. Deep listening is a way in which we immerse ourselves in the truth of the world. In this way, with ears wide open, we also open our hearts and mind to understand more than what is conveyed through the words alone. Opportunities arise from the subtle clues we miss when we are not 100% present. Purposeful, open listening is an act of true respect and intimacy. When you're in this space of receptivity, let go of the needs to be heard or to be right. You become expansive and alert to meaningful potential. Right now, keep your ears wide open and you will find more than you were searching for.
Aw, that's great.
I love that. I love that. It's both of them too. Like both of them are very much discovering, open to discover and ears wide open. Does anyone else want a card? Cindy? She's still here? She here? Sharon, can I pull one for you? Would you like a card, Cindy?
Yeah, sorry, I'm having some trouble with the bandwidth right now.
Oh, here, I'll stop sharing. Make it easy for you right now. Pull one. So as you're thinking about it, and we're sitting here now just thinking about the cards, what's being read, some of the images, really thinking about what is the energy? What is the energy that lights me up? What is the energy? What is the scenery? What are the interactions that really empower me from the inside out? Because I think for many of us, we got a lot of them. This is a beautiful card. I've never pulled this card before, Cindy, so I'm not exactly sure what it means. The Oracle's gifts. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a teacup. The triangle inside.
Pretty.
Really pretty. And this for all of you is Colette's book, The 7 Energies. So I think just really thinking about what is pulling you forward, what is emerging, what didn't you tap into, or what do you have to tap more into? Okay, so your card, the Oracle of Gifts. When we ask for a sign from the universe, we are essentially asking for divine guidance that we believe needs to come from the source outside of us. This is because we don't always trust our intuition and our ability to read between the lines and see beyond time and space. And so we ask for signs and look for mystical reassurance that our mundane lives don't seem to offer. However, an oracle simply provides an answer that is already inside of us. Oracles show up in ways. Sometimes you see billboards or hear songs or pull an oracle card, or you get exact message you need to support your choice or show you the way, regardless of how the sign appears. An oracle is a reminder that you are part of the vast universe. You are witnessed by the great mystery and loved and cared for. It's a reminder that life is magical and you are magical. Today, trust in your own capacity to know what is right, to tune into source, and to be able to read the signs reflecting what is true and real within you. Let the oracle give you the gift of knowing that you are indeed on the right track. Repeat this mantra. The light within me creates miracles in my life. The magic is inside you, outside of you, and all around and within you.
Wonderful.
You can. That's a beautiful card. So I think for envisioning, like as you're thinking about it today, really think about what is the light for you? What is the energy? What is happening around you? And how do you step more into that? And I think you have to make a conscious decision. And so whether you do a vision board here and you're pulling your photos, or you do it for yourself at another time, I think for many of us, really sitting down and thinking about what inspires us, what is magical, and what fills us up from the inside out. Because so many of us have been taught from such an early age that our success, that our likability, that our impact on the world all happens outside of us. And what I've learned, and I'm now writing about, is that the work starts from within. And I think for many of us that are on the call that have already turned to energy work, that have stepped into our healing practices, that work with healers, this is a critical time. This is a critical time for all of us to really believe that it begins with us and that we are part of the light and we are here to share the light. I can't even believe it's so exciting. All right, any questions or thoughts? Any other thoughts? How about you, Caitlin? What's happening on your side?
So I'm pulling out different words and I started looking around for images as well. And I was looking at my vision board from last year and it is very centered around like goals. Like I want this to happen. I want that to happen. Very like tangible things like, you know, new house, new car, things like that. And so for this vision board for 2022, I put, how do you want like the year to feel? So I've been focusing more so on, I guess, more so like vague images and words that allow me to like not be too centered on exactly what it is that I want, but still allowing room for expansion. So one of the things I wrote down was exploration. I want to discover things that truly make me happy and that allow me to tap into my childlike essence. So I wanted to keep that open because I'm not sure what that could look like, and just allowing life to essentially guide me and take me to what that freedom or internal feeling might feel like. So I'm going very much so for feeling, and there's a lot of recurring themes that I've had in 2021. One of them is surrendering and letting things happen and not trying to control. So I'm just trying to reflect back on 2021 and seeing like what were the recurring themes, what are the feelings I want to feel moving forward, and how I can like capture this via image. So that's what I'm currently at right now.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think kind of what I was thinking this afternoon, because I started down the path of goals and such. I'm like, I don't know. I have, of course I have goals like everyone else, but I feel like I can reach those if I'm in the right energy field, the right frequency.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
That's awesome. Anybody else? That's really good. I love that. I'm going to pull a card for you. I love it. I had so many decks out because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, but I love this circle because on hers, it's just like, it has all the colors and it just is ongoing. And I think for many of us, it's really about the journey.
True.
Things are shifting though. You know, I'm starting to write another book and I'm writing about how things are shifting because with the Mayan calendar ending in 2012, I was looking at the Me Too movement and, you know, that started in 2006, but nothing really happened until 2017. But the Chicago Tribune has actually documented like a timeline and everything is happening so much faster now. And I think with that, it just makes me believe that our energy is really needed more now than ever. And I think having these ways to come together and making ourselves feel that it's okay to share it is so important. So what are we going to pull for Caitlin? Caitlin, what do you need to hear? I know you need this thing right here. Aw. Healing with your heart. Healing with your heart. I love that. Number 23. I'll just read some of this for you. Then I think I have everyone but Sharon. 23. Healing with your heart. When you are wounded emotionally, you need time to regroup and find your center. You may have recently endured a breakup, a betrayal, loss of someone close to you, or loss of an affiliation that gave you too much power to. Perhaps you're watching someone go through a difficult time or feel bad that you can't help them. Maybe you're still not over a past disagreement. No matter the cause of this heartache, deep healing is calling for you. This happens on its own timeline and can be never rushed. The path to healing the heart center is reciprocal, the flow of giving and receiving. Sometimes wounding occurs because we become too dependent on another. And this is accomplished by the desire to manipulate or control an outcome. Both wounding and healing usually begins within, not from the outer conditions of our lives. We often believe that we can wound only by others, but we do more damage to ourselves in self-sabotaging the way we think and behave. It's important to take a step to heal yourself and become willing to release the pain of the past, which can be tempered to revisit. It's time to take responsibility for your part in this healing journey. Look for ways you can help yourself and others. You are willing to make amends if needed. Conversely, accepting someone where they are without trying to influence their growth process. Healing the heart in all aspects is your priority now. Nothing else matters. Only beauty and goodness will come as a result. Does that resonate?
I definitely think that resonates. A few things come to mind when I think about like self-sabotage and different relationships and friendships and different experiences. Or for me, the thing that stuck out the most was I guess like I had a certain idea for how I thought my life would turn out. And then like this year and like the past 2 years, it didn't turn out like that. So I guess for me, it's also, I guess, releasing and letting go of and healing from the fact that things didn't pan out how I thought, which obviously it's life, but at the same time, you know, things happen how they should. So I think it's a mixture of that, but that was the first thing that came up for me.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, hopefully just even listening to some of the others really kind of says, what do I need to let go of, right? To me, it came from, what do I need to let go of? What am I holding that's no longer serving me? And even putting a little bit of a transformation image on mine that is about coming out, like coming out of the cave, coming out of the water, some kind of transformation where I'm coming out in a new way. I'm listening to these thinking, you know, the images that might go with them. So if it's resonating with you, what's the image look like and what's the energy you're walking into? Because for many of us, we keep ourselves kind of hinged into the stories we keep telling ourselves. And those stories are old and they don't serve us oftentimes, but we can only get rid of them if we acknowledge them and know that we need to release them and create the space for new energy. I'm super excited. All right. So just as we're ending up here, I know we're coming up in the hour. I just want to see if anyone has any thoughts or any images that they love. I know, Sherry, you mentioned some images that are coming forward to you for you. Are you finding images that you're enjoying?
Yeah, I got the book with the magic coming out of it, and I've got a person meditating by the water. It's all orange. It says breathe. And then I found this image because I thought about, now is the time to step forward and start making, going towards my dreams, things that I've thought about for a long time. And I found this image that has a big red N, and in the middle is a clock, and then a W. It says now. And then I have a quote from C.S. Lewis. It's, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream."
Oh, that made my heart flutter. It's like, that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I wanted to share with, is it Sharon that had the knee surgery? Is that who had the knee surgery? Which
Wendy.
person? Wendy.
Me, yeah.
I just was introduced recently to Wim Hof breathing, WIM space HOF. And it really works on taking away pain and healing. And you can Google Wim Hof, and you can, gosh, there's all kinds of information you can read. He just did a most recent video 2 weeks ago, but if you want it, I can send you the link or put somehow, there must be a way we're going to be sharing through this experience. But
Here, type it. If you tell me, how do you spell it, Sherry? Is W what?
WIM space HOF breathing. And it helps the body heal. This man who'd been in a car accident and was told he'd never walk again, he told his story about he started doing this breathing several years ago, and he's a picture of health. So
Really?
help heal. Yeah, and you just do it. I try to do it every day, and it's when you first watch the breathing video that he does, I thought he was breathing through his mouth, but it's you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you just do this round cycle, and he counts out for you and tells you when to hold your breath and such. So, but yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's great. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
I actually may have done that at a retreat that we went to, but it's just another that I went to in September, but just another tool for the toolbox, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
I think he was. Is he the one that gets you to dive in super cold water?
Yes, he has the nickname of the Iceman. Yeah.
Yes. So on Netflix, Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop has like 7 or 8 series, and he's in that. And they a couple of people from her team goes and does the dive.
Ooh,
It's a plunge. It's like a plunge.
My friend does it in the shower. So you gradually, you start with your warm shower, and then you gradually get to cold. So she does that every day. She says she screams in her shower.
I'm sure that's good.
But it helps the immune system.
Oh my
cold
gosh.
shower.
Sharon, what's coming forward for you?
Well, I didn't look any pictures up, but if I'm just thinking of what pictures I will look up, I'm thinking trees and Mother Nature, lots of flowers, and then maybe healing stones and touching.
I love that. I love that. How about you, Wendy? What's coming forward? Even if you're not looking up pictures, what kind of visualization are you thinking?
this is the funny thing. I just did my whole board, and I swear to God. So for everybody
See
else,
it.
I'm like,
Can you share it or no?
No, share it. I'm more of a newbie. So the funny thing is, I've known JJ for like 40 years, whatever, not to age us, but sorry. And she's like, she's done all this for her whole life. And like, I've always had these things and have been very spiritual, but I didn't really realize it. So when I went to this thing in September, I was like, JJ, these cards, they really work. They just like jump out of nowhere. Honest to God, I woke up. I mean, I'm pretty in a pretty big funk. And I literally woke up yesterday and I'm like, you got to do a vision board. Like I've never done one before. And then I wake up this morning, like looking through my phone, and I'm like, oh, she's doing a vision board thing. Of course she is. Like, this is perfect. So I really didn't know how to do it before this. And I just did it. And let me figure out how to share it. Share screen. I'm going to share this.
Did you do it in PowerPoint?
Yeah, I just did it in PowerPoint. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, cool.
Very
Wow.
beautiful. Very,
So I'm like,
very.
obsessed with sound baths, and I want to order my own bowls to learn how to do it.
Uh-huh.
I've got to get myself healthy because we're going to go to the Grand Canyon next summer. So like kind of all these three things are just, I admit I'm just ready to turn everything around because I'm not healthy. And this is like a balancing of the chakras. This is a picture of the Grand Canyon. This is more for world peace. And then this is more for just like connecting to the earth and such. So that's what I came up with so quickly.
Very nice. Very nice.
It is beautiful. And it's not, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be complicated, but it's like all those photos even excite me. Like, and it's not even my vision board. Hi, Aspen.
Look at the huge.
Yeah. You can
Oh,
take your mask off. Take your mask off.
So, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
I know, so I'll probably tinker with it some more, but I'm like, I mean, this is what this is all about. Like, literally, I woke up yesterday. I'm like, I got to do a vision board. It's gonna help, but I never done one. And then I see your thing, and then here we are.
Serendipitous. I absolutely love it. That is beautiful. I love all your photos, but it just makes my heart sing. I mean, I just love it. You did it so fast too. It gives us all insight to say, okay, now what I do, if you want, I save it like obviously as a PowerPoint, but then I save it as a JPEG, and then you can make it your backsplash, or you can print it out, or.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I like that idea.
So if you save it as a JPEG, when you go into the JPEG, you can right click and say, make as my, what do they call it? Like the back of my computer. What do they call that? Make it my background.
Background. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
That is beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you.
Beautiful. I love it. Oh, does anyone else want to share? I don't know if anyone had the time. I know everyone's kind of thinking about it. Does anyone else? I'm going to pull Sharon a card, but does anyone else want to share before we wrap up? Cindy,
I haven't created one, JJ, but I looked back at mine from 2 years ago. I created one right before the pandemic, and a lot of it still resonates, which is really interesting. But I picked up some new things from you all tonight, so I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this. When you pull the card, it basically told me a couple of things that are really true. You got to trust yourself this year, trust your instincts to be able to do what you want to do, because that's what I sometimes don't do. So thank you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you. Sharon, I'm going to pull you a card. I have a feeling I already know what it is, but what message do I need to share with Sharon? Why? I think I know, probably because I'm too close to you. But I'm sure it'll surprise us both. It's unleash your kindest self, unleash your kindest self, but trust the universe. That's the one that came out first. And don't you love with the moon and the sun? Trust the universe. I'm going to read that to you. Trust the universe. I love that. The first quarter moon in Aquarius, which is Aquarius here in a couple weeks here. So first quarter moon Aquarius. 74. So trust the universe. It is time to release your grip on the situation. Passion is good, but too much can become manic. Sometimes we feel too much intensity around our dreams because we're scared they won't come true. But that's counterproductive. Live and let live a little. State your intention to the universe, then detach. Trust the universe and see what happens. The tighter your grip now, the more likely you are to lose out. This is doubly true if you've been jealous or had an issue to do more. Avoid trying too hard to influence something or someone. If you feel stuck or you're not making progress, you need to tread carefully. Sometimes stuck people behave recklessly, which I don't think is relevant. When the card comes up, there's a risk that you're being too rigid in your thinking, words, and action. Loosen up and you'll find easier to overcome the challenges you're facing. The third eye chakra is located just above the midpoint, as you know. It allows you to see beyond life's illusion to the truth that you are an amazing being here to manifest your dreams. Let go and allow yourself to be filled with its divine indigo light, healing you and your family line, holding this card to your third eye and calling the energies with these words. Energies of the first quarter moon in Aquarius, thank you for showing me that it's okay to be me.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I definitely need to loosen up.
Well, you have so many gifts, so many gifts. So many gifts, and I think it just goes like what we talked about with Caitlin last week. I mean, there's so much history and family traditions and expectations that sometimes when you have gifts that are meant to be shared with the world, it's hard to get out of your own way because you're like, what if is now the time? What if this doesn't happen? And I think now more than ever, the world needs all of us women to really step into our light, share what we know, even if we don't think it's a big deal. I think if I'm a lesson to anybody, like, I feel like I just had to go for it. Even though I could have thought about this 65 different ways, I finally just opened the doors and said, I'm going to launch it. And as Caitlin will attest, I'm still figuring it out every day. And I wasn't even exactly sure how this call would manifest, but I trusted that the women that were meant to show up would be here, and what was ever expected to be shared among us would happen. And that I couldn't hold on to what exactly I wanted, and I would have never anticipated all of you here with me thinking about the energy we wanted to walk into. So thank you for being part of this and making this happen.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm
for
so
bringing us
lucky.
Together. Thank you for bringing us together.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that all of you showed up, and I hope that you'll take a little time between now and the next 2 weeks to really think about the energy you walk into. And as you move through your weeks, that you take a look at your ideas, even if they're words and not pictures, and saying, does this align to the energy in which I want to resonate? Because if it's not, and you have too many things that are pulling you away from those visuals and those feelings, you have the power to change it. You have the power to change it. So with that, I just want to send all of you love and light. And thank you all for making this a reality.
Namaste.
You are beautiful. Happy holidays, and look forward to jumping into 2022 with all of you.
Thanks,
Bless
love.
your journey.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bless your journey. See you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks for the
Bye-bye.
card.
That was so fun.